Welcome back to the Cross Reference. Glad to have you here. Do we have a treat for you today? But before I tell you about it, do all the cool things. Hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and like and share if you feel led to do so. Today I had the blessing to be able to sit down with YouTuber Flat Earth Dave. And might be asking, who is Flat Earth Dave? Well, Flat Earth Dave is an individual who believes and makes the case and makes the argument for a flat earth. He has a whole YouTube channel dedicated to it. And I was able to sit down with him today with Carl Nalley and just have a discussion, because I would be lying if I didn't say that I am a little intrigued with the Old Testament and looking at the actual original Hebrew language that it was originally written in, and seeing that the actual translation seems to paint a pretty convincing picture of a flat earth, rather than what we've been taught ever since, we were in grade school, that the world is actually a sphere, and along with other spherical planets circling around a spherical sun. And but the Bible in the actual Hebrew seems to make a pretty convincing argument for a flat earth. And I started getting a little interested in it, and Carl reached out to him through his channel and scheduled an interview, and Dave was nice enough to come on the Cross Reference and have the discussion and have a discussion. So without further ado, Flat Earth Dave.
Good.
Oh, good, man.
I did not. My camera wasn't working. I rebooted. I reset. Redid all the settings. Did everything, and then I finally found out that the cable wasn't plugged in.
Oh, yeah. Got to have the cable plugged in.
That'll do it every time.
So, Carl was telling me, just a little background. Carl, you don't like to call yourself a flat earther. You say I'm a biblical earther, right?
I guess so, yeah.
I mean,
Are you a globe? Are you a ball flying through space earther?
Man, okay.
That used to be.
Yes.
Okay, wait, hold
we're
on.
talking to Carl. Okay.
Hold on. Who wants to record? Which one of you guys?
I'm recording right now.
Oh, you're recording.
The second you came in, I started recording.
Is this your Zoom or my Zoom? No,
This
it's my
is
Zoom.
this is yours.
Oh, but you're recording. Got it.
Recording in progress.
Good to go.
Okay. Good deal. So,
Go ahead.
little background, Carl. I've heard about the flat Earth theory, and I never really looked into it. And me and Carl, he started sitting in on our little channel, and we discuss topics and relate it to scripture and stuff like that, and mainly upcoming news and politics and whatever current events. And Carl here, started showing me that, look, it's all throughout the Bible. And that's really what got me looking into this. And he was like, hey man, we should hit up Flat Earth Dave. And I don't know much about you. And I'm just like, hey man, well, welcome, sell me, do your spiel. I thought it was really cool. I can't hear you.
I know. I do that. So I mute myself, and then I don't unmute myself. It's the thing. It's my signature now. I have to do it every show.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I like it.
Flat Earth sells itself. All you have to do is look.
Right.
All you have to do is think. The people that fight. And I'm not talking about the paid trolls or the demon possessed trolls out there that are actively fighting, but the people that are just normal people that hear about Flat Earth. They fight against it. They don't know their own model. They don't know their own heliocentric model. They knew a tenth of what we knew about their heliocentric model. They would be flat earthers. And flat earth, a lot of people get triggered by that term. I like it because it triggers people. Flat earther is somebody that doesn't believe we live on a globe. Okay?
Okay.
Now, that could mean anything else. It could mean a lot of other things. It's just we're not on a globe. It's not the story as told. It wasn't 19 hijackers that took down 7 buildings, okay, with 3 planes.
I can agree with that. I mean, that's...
So there you go.
Okay. Well, so I guess, first of all, I mean, how'd you get started in this?
I was doing a podcast called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole about all the other deceptions in the world. We lost somebody, right? You coming back?
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
Did you turn? Okay.
I'm just stretching. I'm stretching. I don't want to look all weird. My neck hurts really bad.
Um, that's gonna screw up my recording though. No problem.
Sorry about that. Here, I'll turn it back on.
Yeah, no, we're good. We're good now. We're good now. I made it so you won't rearrange the windows. So you're conspiracy theorists. Nope, I'm a conspiracy analyst. I mean, there's conspiracies everywhere. There's conspiracies in your own home. When two or more people gather together for their own benefit, that's a conspiracy.
Right.
Right. So saying, I don't believe in conspiracy theories means that you're an idiot. Right. So there's conspiracy theories. I mean, conspiracies everywhere. And I was looking into all these conspiracies and in the third year of the podcast, people started sending me flat earth stuff. Dave, have you looked into flat earth? At first I thought it was a joke. Then it got annoying. Then it got, I started banning people. I came up with ban for life because, you want me to look at flat earth? You're too stupid to listen to our comedy podcast about conspiracies. And then I was forced to look by a friend and fellow researcher, Sophia Smallstorm. And I tried to disprove it. I didn't try to find the truth. I tried to disprove flat earth and prove the globe. And that's how you become a non-glober.
A non-glober.
A non-glober, right? Because what is this realm? Where does it go? How far does it go? Does it terminate beyond Antarctica? Is there a dome? Is the sky flat? Are there other ponds? Is there more land? These are all questions that we don't know. Is there a bottom side? Is there other? I don't know. But all I know is the Earth measures flat, right? It's a topographical plane. Water, the science of water at rest, large bodies of water at rest, lie flat. The glober trolls will, what about a raindrop? That's not a large body of water. Anything bigger than a gallon will lie flat. And all of the heliocentric, the globe measurements, all of them are all assumptions. And they're all assumptions based on other assumptions, right? Our entire solar system is based on the radius of the Earth, which was falsified.
How so?
Do you know how they came up with the radius of the Earth? The radius.
No idea.
Yeah. One of the ways they claim they did it was when Venus transited the sun. Now, Venus is about the same size as Earth. And when it transited the sun, people on the East Coast and people on the West Coast saw it start and stop at different times. They did some really good geometry, algebra, calculus, and figured out how far, how big it was and how big we are. The problem with that equation is they assumed Venus was the same size as Earth, right? I don't know if Venus is as big as my house, right? My house isn't even that big. We don't know any of that. Another thing is, we're taught that Eratosthenes, the story about Eratosthenes 2,000 years ago in Greece, the guy with the sticks and shadows?
No.
So one thing we're taught in school is that Eratosthenes 2,000 years ago figured out the shape of the Earth, and he got it within 2% of the size that we now know it is based on other assumptions.
And this is in Greece, like what? Like the
So the story is, and the story changes, but I'll give you the basic story, is he looked down a well on a certain day of the year and he could see that the sun was directly above the well because he could see the sun reflecting in the bottom. Good observation, good analysis. Yes, the sun is directly above the well. It's the only way that could work. Then he theorized if he sends his buddy 500 miles away and, Eratosthenes could put a stick in the ground and it won't have any shadow at that time. And if his buddy does a stick in the ground at the same time, if the Earth is flat, basically he was assuming the Earth is a globe, and he could measure the shadow and do some algebra, right? Because they assumed that the sun's so far away that the rays come in straight, right? When it's infinitely far away, we call it. The sun comes in, it would come in straight. But no one has ever seen straight rays. When you see rays coming through the clouds, you see them like this. This is called corpuscular rays, right? Let me show you a better one.
Okay.
When you see the sun coming through the clouds, this is what you see, right? But for some reason, he thought they came in straight, right? Like this, which no one has ever seen. This is photoshopped, right? So using that analysis, he said we can measure the sticks and shadows and figure it out. But here's the thing. First, you know how his buddy figured out it was 500 miles? He counted his steps for 500 miles. Can you imagine that? 97,658, 97. Wait, what? Excuse me. Oh, what number was I on?
No, what?
Like, are you walking in a straight line? You know, and then when he got there, that's the real story. This is the story.
Whoa.
Right. Here's the thing. If you guys knew your story, you would laugh at it, but you don't even know your own story. It's like telling somebody about Flight 93 on 9/11. Flight 93 crashed into the ground at such a steep angle that the ground liquefied, swallowed the plane so deep, and then re-solidified that they can't dig it out. Does that sound ridiculous?
Yeah.
That is the official story.
Whoa.
Okay?
So
The globe is the only thing dumber than that. All right? Finishing on Eratosthenes, right? So looking at it right here. So you got parallel rays coming in. Here's Eratosthenes. He's got no shadow. Here's his buddy 500 miles away. He measures the length of the shadow, can figure out the circumference by the angle changes. It's perfectly good math. It works, right? But assuming that the sun rays are parallel. On a flat Earth with a small local sun, here's Eratosthenes, no shadow. Here's his buddy, same shadow length, same math, figure out the same sphericity of this flat surface.
yeah, I got you.
Math is only as good as the data that you put into it. So these are things that we're taught in school as fact. You're not allowed to question them because it's already done. And you know what's interesting? The Globers, every proof they have is from ancient history. There's nothing from today, right? We could do Eratosthenes experiment with 50 people all around the Earth inside of an hour. We've got iPhones, we've got FaceTime, we've got longitude and latitude GPS. We can figure out where we are. Everyone could do it at the same time. We could do a Zoom call and everyone could show their results at the same time. I mean, it's ridiculous. Flat Earth, no shadow. That means this is a sphere according to Eratosthenes. Therefore, once you see that, you can now admit, okay, that entire thing about Eratosthenes is bullshit. Doesn't prove Earth is a globe because it works on both. Doesn't prove it's flat. It works on both.
Yeah, it's just inconclusive.
It's inconclusive. So they're using inconclusive things, lies, and straw man arguments to prove the globe. We don't do that. We flat earthers, we constantly keep doing new measurements, new tests, new things that all disprove the globe. Now, some people say, well, the Earth could be way bigger. We have observations that would make the Earth over 1,000 times bigger. Now, if the Earth is 1,000 times bigger, how many more continents do you think there are?
No telling.
Yeah, maybe 1,000 times the number of continents.
And that's now okay. On my channel, okay, people are not going to understand. Now I do because I've done a little research, about what a quote unquote flat earther believes. Right now, terms like localized sun, somebody might not understand what you're talking about, or maybe like I don't even know if a lot of people understand that flat earthers do not think that you're a disc in outer space. So things like that, like what do you mean by localized sun? What does that mean? Like,
I mean a local sun, like a local light, like a street light is close.
Right.
It is a much farther light. So in the flat earth model, the sun is within the dome, in the firmament, in the sky. And there's arguments, people say, oh, it's 3,000 miles away. I think it's way closer than that. But we don't know the distance, and we're not going to falsify it. Now, you could say the sun is 3,000 miles away and 30 miles wide, and all of the math works. Everything works with that measurement. But you could also say it's 1,500 miles high and 1,500 miles. Wait, what did I say? 3,000, so 1,500 meters wide, and then 15 miles across.
Right.
It would look the same. if you have they tell us the sun is 400 times bigger than the moon and it's 400 times farther, therefore they look like they're the same size, right? If the sun was 500 times bigger than the moon and it was 500 times farther away, they would still look the same size. That's scaling and variance, scaling and variance. This is
But you want to be able to focus them both in the same focal point on the camera.
well. Here's the funny thing about that. We have guys with unbelievable, great telescopes and stuff, and he shows us he's focused on the moon, sharp, crisp as can be, amazing, detailed. Then he zooms past the moon. Moon goes out of focus, and he's zooming past the moon. Brings the moon back into focus. Then he zooms before the moon. Moon's out of focus. So he proves that he can zoom on the moon, and zooming past or before it doesn't have the moon in focus. Very simple, right? And then he could do the same with Saturn and Jupiter and stars. He can bring them all into focus. He could zoom past them, and he could zoom in front of them. Then he zooms on the moon, and then he just moves his camera from planet to star to planet to the moon, and everything's in focus without refocusing it.
Really?
What does that suggest?
That they're all about the same height, the same
They're
distance
all about
away.
the same distance,
Yeah.
right? That's what it suggests.
So okay, you mentioned the firmament, and that's a biblical term.
Yep.
The Book of Genesis, chapter 1, and the firmament. So do flat earthers? Like I said, a lot of people think that flat earthers believe that they got this idea that y'all believe that we are like a CD, like in a heliocentric model,
yeah.
you know, and that's not what you believe.
You Google flat Earth images, this comes up, right?
Yeah.
By design, right? We're not a pancake in a heliocentric world with globes, right? They're not pancakes either. This is a double false paradigm, right? It's saying, hey, fake flat Earth or fake solar system, which one is it? It's like, hey, we're going to vote left or right, the same monster. This is not what the Earth is. It's not a disk floating in endless space, right? Nobody believes that. Nobody believes there's an edge of the Earth. Nobody believes we're a turn-up floating in space.
That you can't fall off the Earth.
No, the only people that believe that are people that are ignorant, and ignorant is not an insult. You're ignorant to things that you don't know. I'm ignorant to things that I don't know. Anything you don't know, that the right word is ignorant. You're ignorant until you learn about it. So, people think that this is what flat Earth is. That's not what flat Earth is. That is what they want you to think it is, because they don't want you ever looking at it. The flat Earth is more something like this. If you had to put a model down, it's a pond, right? What does a pond need to contain its water?
Walls.
It needs
A shoreline.
It needs a shoreline that's higher than the water, right? Right? Of course.
Right.
A bathtub overflows when the water gets higher than the edge of the tub, right? Right. So Antarctica is the containment of our world. It's the containment of our water. And if you look at the average height of all continents, all known continents that they're telling us about, without being able to see them, can you guess which one is Antarctica?
The biggest one.
Yeah, over double the next highest one, right? So that doesn't prove the Earth is flat. It's interesting, right? Antarctica is the shoreline around our world. It's the shoreline around our world. If this is Antarctica, right? You got your continents in here. There's Africa. We'll come around. Is that Africa? Yeah, Africa. And we're coming around. Sun's rising here in South America. United States is up here, right? It goes around. You got your small local sun. You got your moon over here. This happens to be a full moon right now. You got your stars. You can kind of see them here spinning around. It's all spinning around.
So it's all within the firmament. Like all what we call planets and stars and all that is up there in the firmament, not outside. Does space exist to a flat earther?
Well, here's the thing. Anything that we can't reach and touch, we can only speculate about it. And we can go off of all the analysis that we can do. We can go off of biblical things. Never in the Bible does it talk about planets. Never does it say the Earth is a globe. Never does it say that the Earth is moving. It says that it's still fixed on pillars. It never says that it's a sphere. It does say there's the circle of the Earth. Well, this is a circle. A circle is a line on a flat surface that all the points of the line are equidistant to a center point. That's a circle. That center point is the North Pole. And the sun and the moon and all of the stars, and interestingly, all of the planets circle around Polaris, right? Here's the planets. They all circle around Polaris. I thought we all went around the sun. How is it that we're tilted away from the sun? Our point of axis points towards a random star, but all of the other planets circle around Polaris.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. You guys are, which one of you, I'm confused. Which one of you is on the flat earth side of the fence?
So I've been watching you for years.
Okay. All right. So
And-
you're already there. So you get it. You're already thinking. He's your buddy. You're actually thinking. You've warmed up your mind to think these things. Think about the kids that go to school. Are they ever taught to think? Never. They're taught to memorize and regurgitate and get the A. How do you get the A? Answer all the questions right according to the book. Right? One of my earliest school memories was the teacher took us outside to teach us about gravity, got a bucket of water on a rope and swung it around and said, that's gravity. And me as a little kid, I said, doesn't the water have to be on the outside of the bucket? Because the ball, if we're a globe, the water's on the outside of the globe. And the teacher goes like this. He goes over, he gets his book. He comes over, he's got all these highlights in the book. And he goes, he read me the 2 lines. And he goes, this is how they tell me to teach it. And that's how I'm going to teach it. But he knew that he goes, but you keep asking questions. And I literally went over and played on the swing set and forgot about it for 25 years. Right?
Right.
So all of the planets, and by the way, every single thing I'm going to show you today is a globe killer by itself. But I'm just going to keep on going and going and going because there's too many things to show. There's too many. Just as we're going.
As we're going, can I interrupt and just ask
100%,
questions?
100%,
So you
please.
mentioned school, and I've probably watched like 3 of your videos. I did watch your debate with
with Jackass.
I was gonna say his name is Professor Dave, and he is just a tool. Like he came out
Professor's
swinging.
nonsense.
Yeah, he made up the name Professor. He's a dropout, failed musician, and he makes some good YouTube money because his algorithm's pushed.
I've noticed that.
Yeah. So you can search flat Earth. You can search.
I searched you, and all of his videos
and
came up.
His video, right? That tells you something. Do you trust the government? Do you trust Google?
No.
Of course. So let me ask a question.
What I was gonna ask you, you were
Did I
talking.
make this in Blender, or is this from NASA?
That's probably NASA.
It is pretty damn good, isn't it?
I mean, I don't. Isn't that computer generated though? Or is that supposed to be satellite pictures?
According to NASA, that's satellite pictures. Isn't that
man.
ridiculous?
I don't
How
know.
stupid is that? I mean, and they do this stuff all the time. All the time.
Yeah, and I was just talking to somebody at work today how I don't buy the moon landing. I'm just like I can use my common sense and look at those videos and I'm just like doesn't look legit.
It doesn't look legit. I mean, it's so crazy on how bad it is that people are there's so many like if I sent you a moon landing video, Google would feed you another moon landing anti-moon landing video to divert you. I mean, because like the video that they're going to feed you afterwards is going to try to reverse what I showed you. Right. So you have to be really careful. Let me just show you, since we're on the moon landing, check this out. Right. So you're on the moon landing. How many sources of light are there? They didn't bring any light.
There should only be one source of light, and that's the sun.
They didn't bring any lights. They admit that. Okay. So where's the sun? His shadow is going here.
Yeah.
So the sun's over there. I can't point there. Over there. Right.
Right.
So watch him. Now the camera's going to pan to the right. Just panning slowly. Panning. We haven't gone that far. And now where's the sun? It's kind of in this side of him. Like it's going away. And then watch him just go a little bit farther. He's going to go a little farther. just panning to the right a little bit, and now the sun is on the other side.
What? Yeah.
Right? So what could cause that?
Studio.
Studio, right? So check this out, though. We're in the middle. Watch right here on his visor. See those two lights?
Yeah.
You're going to see two, then you're going to see two more. Ready? There are the two. See him right there? 1, 2. And then when he turns, they look kind of square, too. Right? When he turns, you're going to see two more. 1, 2, 3, 4. See him?
Is that? But a lot of people would argue that might just be an optical illusion on the dome of their
Actually,
their helmet.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. If I was a moon guy, I would say that it was lights on his helmet. It looks like flashlights, but
Those
can
are
see
not
them.
lights on the helmet. Those are actually reflections. He does not have lights on his helmet. But
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
all.
no, it's okay. I love Steel Manning the globe position because I do it better, I do
I
it
really
better than
want to. I want to so bad.
they do it. They do it better than they do.
Yeah.
This is is it something like this? Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, go on and on.
Yeah, you can
I mean,
go on and on like the flag. And I'm just like, what?
look at this. Do you know how much that thing cost? $38 million back in 1970. It's a Jeep chassis with some crappy beach chairs and an umbrella sprayed with gold spray paint. It's got duct tape when you zoom in on it, right? That thing is $38 million. In today's dollars, which are worth far less, we can get this bad boy for $1 million less.
Yeah, but see, those tires are engineered so that they won't burst in a vacuum.
Yes,
And also,
yes,
the umbrella is got some kind of special paint to keep it from melting.
yes. And that special paint is very expensive. You're right. To be a Glober, it's kind of fun. You just make up shit, and you never ever back down, even when you're proven wrong.
I've thought about making videos and just being the globe guy.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
You're just gonna be a troll. She's gonna be.
But I would have to make it obvious enough where smart people would know that I'm joking, but where glow people would be like, "See, this guy gets it."
Yeah. It's just.
That would be so funny.
So you mentioned the schooling and the stuff they teach in schools, and that's where I was going. That I did see a video where you taught like 3 periods. You taught
I'm actually booked for 4 more in September.
Really? So are these public schools are they allowing that, or are these like more private schools?
I think it's more private.
Okay.
I think one of them was kind of public, like a special school, not like for special ed, but for
Right.
it was like a what's it called?
Like a charter.
Yeah, something like that. But and there's 2 different types of classes I've done. One is a class where they bring on crazy conspiracy people so they can so kids can analyze what they say. And after the class, the kids were like, "Whoa, I thought you were crazy," a lot of them weren't convinced, and also when you go in there, I can put out 37 flat earth proofs. But if I don't cover the one thing they think makes the earth a globe, that's all that they remember. So I've tried going in there and shotgunning, boom, just all the points, bam, 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 bam. Then I've also done it the better way is they submit their questions to me. Give me your top, out of all the classes, compile all of your reasons you think the earth is a globe. And then I address them that way, and that seems to work a lot better.
Yeah, I did enjoy those videos, and I was like, is the government really letting Dave Weiss teach in public schools? And I really wanted to ask you that
it's getting out there. Candace Owens is now talking about flat Earth. I'm sure you saw. I was just on Roseanne Barr. Did you see that?
You were?
Yeah. Just go to Roseanne Barr on YouTube or Rumble.
I didn't want to send it to you. I didn't want you to watch it, so.
Watch it afterwards.
Yeah, he told me to try and come in blind.
It's best to do that. When someone says that they want to talk to me about flat Earth, they don't know about it. I'm like, book me now. Don't research, because it's better. It's better. It helps you because a lot of times you'll go down these rabbit holes that'll just infect you and make you, it'll just tire you out and make you not want to look anymore. So you have to remember, when we're done here and you upload this, you're going to have trolls in there. Dave Weiss is a scammer. He just wants to sell his app. That's not true. But my app, by the way, is the best way to learn about flat Earth. It's the best. There's nothing better. Okay. And they'll say, I've been debunked. I've been this, I've been that, but they'll never tell you how. And then if you click on the channel name, empty, no content, no nothing, and a weird name, like a freaking AI name. Right. And these people, they have no content on your channel, but they will troll all of your comments. They spend all of their time following me everywhere. What does that tell you?
That the flat Earth must be fake.
Yes, it must be. Carl, you're really helping out here, man.
Nice.
What else you want to talk about?
Well, so we hit NASA. You did mention during that model. You did mention during that model that that's a full moon. So my next question is, okay, is the moon its own source of light, or like, because we're taught the phases of the moon is the sun blocking it? Yeah, what causes that if under a flat Earth model?
In the heliocentric model, what causes the phase of the moon?
No, are you asking me?
I'm asking you.
Well, isn't it the shadow of the Earth on the moon?
No, even some flat earthers think that. That is a lunar eclipse. They claim causes that, right? It's just the angle of the sun to the moon. Now,
right.
I think the angle of the sun to the moon is responsible for which part of the moon is lit, but it's not reflecting light. For example, I'm standing right next to this rock. It's noon. Is that rock going to light up my face and cast a shadow behind me? No. Is this moon? Yes. I can read a book by the light coming off this moon. It casts my shadow on the ground. Yes, it's daytime here, but if I could block the sun, like I put I build a box around me and I just have it facing this rock here. If it was like the moon, that light would come into the box and cast my shadow on the back wall. Is that reflecting light? This is arguably more reflective than the dusty, dirty moon that the astronauts fake went to, right?
Right.
And the fact that it's 250,000 miles away. So light gets 1/4 of the brightness every time you double the distance because it's spreading out. I'm standing right next to this thing. This thing should be so bright. By the way, if we went to the moon, if the moon is 1 lumen, just for an easy number, and you went halfway to the moon, it's 4 lumens. Cut that distance in half again, it's 16. Cut that again, it's 64. By the time you got 100 miles from the moon, it's multitude times brighter than we see the sun from Earth. That's how bright it would need to be for us to see it the way we see it.
Well, wouldn't a globalist, like on that top picture, wouldn't a globalist argue that the atmosphere is screwing with the sun rays, so because that's why the moon reflects so much in space, because there's nothing to interfere with that light bouncing off the moon.
Interesting concept. Never heard that.
I don't know.
That's a good argument. That's a new argument. I'm not saying it's a good one, but that's stupid. It's silly because the light, when you're standing next to a rock, it's lit by the sun, right? And the astronauts, when they went to the moon, there's no atmosphere. Okay, so how they should vaporize from how bright it should be. They should vaporize, right? And why is it that when the moon, when there's a blue sky, the sky, it's kind of blue. It's the moon is kind of blue. When there's a black sky, it's black. It's really bizarre. Hold on. Oh yeah, this is NASA. They filmed the moon transiting the Earth from 1,000,000 miles away. What's wrong with this picture?
Hold on. They're saying that's a real film?
Yeah, this is NASA 1,000,000 miles away, watching the Earth spin, and they caught the moon transit. Now, the sun is behind them because it's a full Earth, right? So the sun's behind the camera, right? Therefore, it should be a full moon. And there's your question. No atmosphere. How come the moon isn't turned on?
Exposure.
Exposure. Listen to you, Carl. You've been listening, man. But why is the Earth so bright?
The only way to get the Earth
Gravity.
dim,
Right.
the only way they can get the Earth that dim is to turn the exposure down so much that the moon looks dimmer.
Right. Yeah.
I'm gonna start.
Here's some
I'm gonna be
shots.
Professor Dave.
Different. We have infrared cameras and FLIR cameras and stuff. How come it can never see the other part of the moon that's missing? Like, wouldn't the heat still be coming off? The be a temperature signature.
Oh, I've never seen that.
I've never seen that. That's very
Yeah.
interesting.
It's interesting. I don't know what it means. I don't know. Trying to find something for you. So here is the moon above some clouds. Why aren't all of these clouds lit up? Why is it just this one's right here near the moon? Why are just those clouds? Kind of like the moon is near those clouds. I don't think the moon and the sun that we see are physical. I think they move as we move. I think when we go up 120, the highest we can get is about 127,000 feet, that the sun is not much higher than that. That's like 20 miles, right? Here we are, 120,000 feet above the Earth. This is the Earth. Very muted colors, not these beautiful colors that NASA gives you. And there's the sun right there, and there's kind of a hot spot, like it's closer to here than it is to here. Wait a minute. I thought it was 93 million miles away. It's right there. And honestly, I think somebody on the Earth doesn't see the sun that far away, 20 miles. I think it's less than that. I do, but I can't prove it. That's just me. I'm not speaking for anybody else. It's a light in the sky. Just like when you take a magnifying glass and you're burning ants, which I know you did, right? Admit it. You did it.
Yeah.
Okay. If you lift it up in the air a foot, that point is still there. It's just in the air. It's still there. You can blow some smoke in there or spray some water, some mist, and you'll see that point in the air. I think that's what we're seeing here. It's a focal point of light in the sky.
So that's what you mean when you say you don't think they're physical?
I don't think the sun that we see is a physical object. I think it's a focal point of light that we see in what I call our personal atmospheric dome. This is just me. Again, we don't need to speculate about the lights in the sky, the movements of the lights in the sky or anything to determine the shape of the Earth. We can measure the Earth's shape. Go ahead.
Before you move on from this clip, every time I see this clip, it makes me think that because I've had people ask me, well, what's the black void in the back if it's not space? And to me, it almost looks like if you were to imagine somebody just shining a light, you can't see behind the light. You know what I mean? And it's just boom. And then anything beyond that light, you can't see it. It's just so bright,
Yeah, or whatever it is, it's too far away and the light doesn't get there. We're taught that light travels for billions and billions and billions of years and it shows up as a little point of light. Oh, that star you're looking at has been gone for 30,000 years, right? But that light's still traveling. Bullshit, all right? Excuse me.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say that? I just pissed off some people, but that's all right.
No, just be you.
It's all right. It's all right. I try not to swear because I'm not want my kids to watch this. You know what? If that's a word, you got to worry about that. You're not paying attention to the rest of the world. This is a shot from NASA. Wow, look at that. How do you deny that? This is a shot from us, not using a fisheye lens, right? I think this one's higher. This is 100,000 feet. Let me see. Which one is that? Let's see. What does that say? It says
100,000.
What does it say?
It's the same. They're claiming to be the same.
Okay, same height, but this is non-fisheye. This is fisheye. Where are all the continents, NASA? All right, where are they?
That's over the Pacific. Is that what it is? Pacific?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's always in a weird spot. We have here. This is just a balloon going up, and when you stop and you analyze these things, you start to realize that we've been lied to. We've been lied to a lot. As far as here, this is what I want to show you. Light.
The government would never do that.
Daytime is over here. It's nighttime over here. It's daytime over here.
How high up is that supposed to be?
This is, I think this is like 80,000 feet. Okay. But we're looking, the light is over here. It cannot travel forever. It fades out. Okay. We're told that light travels forever, right? It doesn't, right? And I'll show you this. Where is it? Where is it? I am. All right. So why on the globe Earth, why does the sun set?
Because they're saying it goes on the other side of the planet.
Well, because we're spinning, right? And
right.
We're spinning away from the sun. So when you see the sun set, right? The sun's going down because we're falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound.
Okay.
Earth is spinning 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. Where are you guys, in the U.S.? What state?
We're in Texas.
Yes.
So we're about what?
So you're spinning at like 800, 900 miles an hour. Okay. 700 miles an hour is about the speed of sound. So when you're watching a beautiful sunset, it's not going away just like it appears to be. You're falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound, right? So when the sun's going down, 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 it should always keep on going. It does travel about 15 degrees per hour through the sky in our dome of vision. And globers extrapolate that all the way around and go, that's 360 degrees. Earth is a globe. But just because it's doing that, what does it do when it gets out of your sight? And here is, I filmed this on a super clear day, super cold, and the sun went down, 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 and then it stopped. And it stopped right here. Now, this may be out of focus. Doesn't matter. The sun stopped.
Are you
and
serious?
I got it super sped up, and I'm super sped up, and it just sat here. Now my friends are down here at the beach. It's dark. They saw the sun set from the bottom up 10 minutes ago. I'm still watching the sun. Super clear day. Gonna repeat over here. Okay.
It's very zoomed in.
It's very zoomed in.
Where is
right?
this?
And this is right here in Connecticut. You can do it anywhere. It has to be super clear, zero humidity. So usually around, freezing is a good time to do that on a super clear day, which we hardly get because, airplanes throw out so much exhaust.
Gotta love that exhaust.
Yeah, gotta love it.
Contrails, man.
Yeah, no, don't. It's just contrails, right?
It's just contrails. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all.
So
Conspiracy trails.
yeah, so
Where?
and I filmed it, and then the Glober's like, "Oh, Photoshop," and so I live streamed it, and they're like, "You need a solar filter." Okay, let me put a solar filter on. So the sun literally, I had a solar filter on, and the sun disappeared. You can't even see it. Solar filter blocks out like 90% of the light. Right? I brought the drone down. I took the solar filter off. I put it back up. I could see the sun again. All right. They wanted you to wear blinders so you can't see what's going on. On the app, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, because I'm here to scam you out of your $3. On the web button, if you hit the web button, which is the more resources page, it looks like a spider web, and you scroll to the bottom, that load for a second, I have a whole bunch of those all here in the sun fade out section.
Huh.
Okay, just for your knowledge.
So how many people?
Wait, by the way, I didn't show you that. So right there, click the web button, scroll to the bottom, and it's right there. All right. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, with the rise of like AI and everything, how do you combat that now? Like the fact that like we can generate video now that is almost.
It's crazy what we can do now, right?
Right. So like you can easily, it's just people are getting to the point to where, and me and Carl talk about this a lot. They're getting to the point to where you're soon not going to be able to believe anything, or you're just going to believe everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? So how do you combat that when you're, and that kind of goes into my question. We're a very small channel. I'm just now starting to get going. Why do you go on these small channels? How do you combat the AI and is going on small channels to spread this kind of you combating that?
If I put everything on my channel, it gets hidden and no new people find it because I'm completely shadow banned. So I go on all of these different channels and the algorithm gets all screwed up. I mean, you could actually Google my name, and now it was worse before. the algorithm seems to be broken again. They'll probably fix it tomorrow, but you can find more and more stuff. And also, I love going on a show with someone like you that's brand new to this, because you may start talking to other people about it. You may get other guests on here, right? And then it leads to something else. Like some little shows I've gone on have led to bigger shows, right? I'm all about reaching the max number of people. All of this is fake, by the way. All of that's fake, right?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Why is that?
It's all AI generated.
Oh, you're showing AI generated. See?
Yeah.
See? I'm like, why is that?
Yeah, you have to be super careful. And whoops, not what I wanted to
Yeah,
show.
that's just crazy. And with the things I talk about on the show, with believing truth, believing the Bible, believing in God, it's just like it's going to be the biggest deception ever when you can't believe anything or you have to believe everything. You're just gonna have to make that decision, and it's just hard.
Well, it's gonna get to the point where you just can't believe a screen, right?
Well, they've made it purposely. They've been releasing all of this because we're exposing so much stuff. So they're trying to muddy the waters. That's all they can do is muddy the waters. The cat's out of the bag, genie's out of the bottle. People are waking up to this truth like never before. And this is, people are like, well, what difference does it make? I still have to go to work on Monday. This is the one that unplugs you from the heliocentric matrix, which is a satanic system, right? Once you unplug from it, they lose control over you, right? Once you understand that you don't have, they say the only thing that's true is death and taxes, right? Both of those are lies, right? If you want to learn about the second one, email me, info@theflatearthpodcast.com. And when you unplug from the system, they lose control. They need you playing on their ball field, because then you have to play by their ball rules. And they need you using their fiat currency and playing by their rules, because that's how they control you, right? The elite don't need money. They just create money out of thin air. But they want to control you with it.
So that kind of you kind of answered one of my questions. Why does it matter? If this is some extreme, if flat Earth is real and the globe doesn't exist, this is the most intricate lie to mankind.
Oh, there's bigger lies than this, my friend.
You think so?
I thought this was the biggest one. Have you looked into the old world?
Man, don't start with me. What are you talking about?
On my website, flatearthdave.com, there's a banner, see down from the top, that says Old World Order. Just came out by Sean Hibbler, right? He did the whole series, 3 movies called Level with Me, and The Next Level, or in a different order than that. And he's fantastic. And he did one on all of our history being a lie. All of it is a lie. We are not at the peak of civilization. We are in the middle or close to the end of the movie Idiocracy, right? There was an advanced civilization here not that long ago, okay? There was dragons. There was all sorts of stuff that they don't want us knowing about because their entire narrative falls apart. This is something we're on Globebusters, and I was just doing a little joke. I thought this, and I got Paige here. This is my wife, and that's me in the zoot suit. And Globers, some flat earthers even, thought that this was Karen Nyberg, a NASA astronaut. And they're like, NASA's busted. NASA's busted, right? And they put these things together. They showed this, and they showed that, and they put it together, and literally it went viral. Now, because somebody fell for a goof doesn't make, that's just bad research. But what it did was, I got called by factcheck.org. I got called by all those fact-checking places, and they publicized our show Globebusters. They publicized my website. They gave us so much flat Earth publicity. It was amazing. No, there's no such thing as bad publicity. That's what, I used to not believe that. It's actually true. Good publicity is better than bad publicity most of the time, but even bad publicity. But this is just me with zero budget at $35 I spent. Doing stupid things.
You're missing one thing.
What?
Hairspray.
Yeah, that's what she said. Like, if I just grabbed her hair and just did this, if I grabbed her hair and went like that, it would have just floated around, right? And this was nothing. NASA gets $80 million a day. They say they get $80 million a day. I think they get like 5,000. Okay, because they're just a low budget Hollywood studio.
Yeah. I mean, some of the like you were just showing that rover or whatever for the moon. That
Yeah.
you telling me you get $80 million a day, and that's the most they got back then.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, just what they can do. This is old, and people say, oh, what about pictures of Earth? Back in 1970, they didn't have Photoshop. Yes, they did. I think they had Photoshops in the 1800s. Okay, I think they're just re-releasing technology to us now. But they have. That we found a NASA document. It was a NASA document or a CIA or something, where they were talking about perfecting green screen or blue screen technique in like 1958 or 1960, somewhere way back then, where they can make it so you couldn't even detect that they put somebody in a scene. This is back, before people even heard of green screens.
Right. Yeah,
So
I've watched a lot of quite a bit of David Dubine on Adapt 2030. And he talks a lot about the ancient civilizations and how they had technology. It's all been covered up and yeah, like we had electric cars in like what 1870 something.
yeah,
It's crazy, but it's all this new technology now. It's like got to get on board type thing.
right, right.
Well,
What do you want
Carl,
to do here?
Carl, I've been kind of taking over. You want to ask David anything, man? I got more.
No, I mean about the Antarctica thing. I don't know. He was saying that I haven't really been following much lately because I just haven't been. I kind of got burned out of the whole debating the flat Earth and gold thing.
We're done with debating. We're done entertaining those anti-flat earthers. They don't want to learn anything. They strawman us. Like their head clown will go on show after show after show and go, flat earthers can never answer how the sun sets on a flat earth. They can never answer it. Meanwhile, we've answered it, not theoretically, we've answered it 150 times where there's no doubt. Now, does a sunset prove the earth is flat when I show you that it works perfectly on a flat earth? No, because it works on both. But they say that we can't explain it when we can. So just the fact that they have to lie, even though we've explained it to them, then, that just shows you where they're coming from. They're literally demons trying to enslave your mind for whatever it is, whether they get a demonic payoff, whether they're getting paid. I couldn't tell you, paid or possessed. There's no difference.
Yeah, that's what burnt me out on it because I was just seeing them asking the same questions. Like 3 years later, I'm like, wait, I just saw what's that guy McToon? I'm like, I just seen you ask that question in an interview from a year ago, and it got answered.
He's destroyed himself. He got so triggered. There's a channel you gotta go to. It's called Robot Polisher. Do you have my? So Robot Polisher on the if you hit the star button on the app, which is featured, thank you, which is featured players. He's top right here. Robot Polisher.
Yeah.
He destroys McToon, but McToon got so triggered that I was on Roseanne that he sent all of his empty channels over there. I mean, McToon, get some people that have some content on their channels so they have some credibility in their comments. And they're like, you need to have McToon on. You need to have McToon on. And then they're emailing her. And he's emailing her. Please have me on. Have me on. She has no interest in having him on. She actually got me he got me reinvited back onto the show because of his trolling. Okay.
Yeah,
And he's pushing our show to number one. By all the views. He's pushing it to number one. So he's spiraling. And now, is that because a demon inside of him is like making him freak out, or is he afraid he's going to get fired, for not being not controlling the awakening? I
honestly think a lot of them are at the point where they can't turn back now. They can't say they're wrong.
Oh, they can't. No, they can't at all. And so they try to come up with other stuff, and
They just say it never was explained.
Yeah, there's this whole thing, the final experiment. It's not an experiment. It's not final, and it doesn't prove anything. The only thing it could prove, if this is a,
what's the final? Wait a minute. What's
the final experiment? So this preacher came out of nowhere with a very questionable past and present. Right? We'll just leave that alone. Very questionable. But he's like, we're gonna take flat earther. He's gonna pay it costs like $40,000 each for a flat earther and a globe earther to go to Antarctica on December 14th, which is a day the Illuminati love. That's the thing that Sandy happened on that day, and other things happened. But whatever, that's just a coincidence. And if the sun circles around your head, for the midnight sun behind you, south, that leads to the globe model. And, in Antarctica, in the Arctic and the Antarctic are two different things. Here, let me just show you. I'll show you on here. So let me explain.
Go ahead.
So this yellow line here is the Tropic of Cancer. Everything inside of this, we'll call that the Arctic region. And the outer line is the Tropic of Capricorn. And everything outside that we'll call the Antarctic region. Here's Antarctica out here, and the Arctic is in here. So if I'm inside this circle, what does the sun do? The sun is arcing around me, right? It's circling around my head. And if I'm close enough to the center, in June and July, the sun will never set because it never gets far enough away to set, right? If I'm right where my finger is, the sun's never far enough away, and I can see it circling all the way around my head. That works on a flat Earth, and it works on a globe Earth. Doesn't prove anything. On a globe Earth, it should be the same thing. It should be, it should circle around your head. But on a flat Earth, it comes towards you and it goes away. It comes towards you and goes away. That's antarcing. The Antarctic clock, sky clock. I don't know. All of this stuff makes.
I think I'm following you.
Yeah. So here it's coming towards me and away. So the sun would never go behind me like it would here. Here, like if I'm facing that way, it's behind me. It comes around in front of me and behind me. In front of me, behind me. Here, if I'm looking that way, it's coming in front of me. It's going away. Coming towards me. It never goes behind me. Now, he says, if we go there and we see a sun go behind you, that proves the Earth is a globe. And it doesn't. It proves that we know nothing about the sky because it doesn't negate all of the physical measurements we've taken here on Earth. I'll show you some of them in a minute.
All right.
Okay. We've measured the Earth. There is no curvature. If something doesn't curve, it's what?
Flat.
Right. If something doesn't move,
It's
stationary, right?
Yeah.
The Earth is measured. It doesn't move. It doesn't curve, right? So it's been measured. So what would that mean? Well, that would match the globe model. It would totally negate our circling sun, assuming it was real, assuming it wasn't a reflection, assuming there wasn't some other sun. I don't know. I don't think there is, right? Assuming they didn't fake it, which I think that they really do have the technology to fake a low-lying sun going around, because it is light in December 24/7 there, because the light wraps around the dome. It's a whole longer thing, a longer show. We got plenty of shows on it.
Well, isn't that why they want to take a flat earther and to see it in person?
But and I agree, more data is great, and I think they're gonna. My opinion is they're gonna try to fake it. They're gonna try to fake it, and they're not gonna do a good job. It's not gonna work.
So are you gonna go?
I was actually chosen to go. I'm not the right guy to go. I suck with cameras. I don't want to go. I actually don't have the time to go. I've got responsibilities. But Jaron and Austin are probably gonna go. All right, and Dave McKeegan, who's actually very good with cameras, but he's the worst troll on Earth. Here's the guy in the north. The sun is going in front of him and behind him, right? It's arcing around him, and that's what it does. That's what's been witnessed. That's what millions of people have seen. That's what there's tons of videos. This guy sees the sun come towards him and then go away from him. Come towards him and go away from him. So that would lead towards a flat Earth. And I think that's what they do see there, but I think they're going to try some shenanigans. I mean, they have electrostatic, anti-gravitic technology now. They could put a light up in the sky and float it across behind clouds, behind a hazy sky. They could do all sorts of things. I don't know what they're going to do, right? But the thing is, it just will tell us that we don't know about the sky. It doesn't prove it either way. So I think it's not an experiment. It's just an observation. Here is a time lapse in the Antarctic. The sun comes towards you and then it goes away. In the Arctic, it comes up and around you. It goes around you, right? This is arcing around you and this is antarcing away from you, right? So we're going to see that. Our guys are going to explain. Here's the thing. They've done 3 or 4 Antarctic, when the flat Earth movement really kicked into gear, 2014, 2015, we were pointing out there's no video of the 24-hour sun in Antarctica. And it wasn't until like 2017, all of a sudden, a couple videos popped up. And when you look at them, they're provably fake. They're looped. They're fish-eyed. They're all, they're just a cartoon sun, like really bad. So they did this without us looking over their shoulder. Imagine we're going to be there with infrared cameras and thermometers and azimuths and measuring tools and all sorts of stuff. Measuring the azimuth of the sun and everything. They're not going to be able to fake it. It's going to be a total mess. But they're literally taking a lot of energy of the movement, and people are really focusing on this and fighting, and that might be what it's all about. But again, I think that it's going to backfire on them big time. That was a lot. Sorry.
How long do they claim the sun is visible for in Antarctica?
Well, they claim from the South Pole, it should be 4 months, 4 or 5 months. It should never set.
Whoa. Okay.
Just like it does in the North, but it doesn't. It doesn't. We've had people that work there, people that have lived there. They say they never seen the midnight sun.
I was just going to say an easy way they could get out of it is if you go down there for that trip. I mean, surely you're only going to be there a couple of days, not you, but whoever goes. And then they could just make it super weathery,
What, they can control the weather? Come on.
No,
That's what I'm saying.
Come on.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, they claim they can. I don't know. I don't say they can. They claim they can.
We can pull up their own documents right now from the
I'm just going by what they
70s where they Congressional Archive, man. Come on.
I don't believe in conspiracies. I believe in nothing.
Here's the thing. Belief is the enemy of knowing. Belief is easy. Hey, guys, I live in Connecticut. Where do I live?
Connecticut.
Okay. And you probably believe it. You're like, okay, why would they lie about that? And now you're done. Go smoke a joint, drink a beer, take a nap. Right? But if you want to actually prove it, it's going to take you time and effort. And people don't want to do that. You want to become rich, invent something that makes people lazier that they want. Okay? And you'll be rich. So they don't want us thinking. They don't want us looking. They don't want us unplugging from their matrix. And flat earthers are willing to take the time, effort, take the ridicule, the scorn, if you will, but that's all changing. I mean, the amount of people that are waking up to flat Earth is incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
Isn't it like 30%?
30% of the world? I'd like to think that's it.
I thought I saw that somewhere where it's like 30% of people believe or are willing to entertain the thought of a flat Earth.
Yeah,
I thought I read that somewhere.
Probably 30% of some survey.
Yeah, probably. So, okay, I mean, I have more questions if you got a little bit more time. That's up to you.
Yeah, we can go a little bit. Yeah, sure, no problem.
Okay, well, does the sun stay on the same in a flat Earth model? Does it stay in the same path all year long? And if so, how do we get seasons? How do we get, summer in Texas is 110 degrees, and then winter? How do we get our seasons?
So, how do you think you get your seasons?
Well, I know what I've been taught.
How were you taught seasons work?
That as the sun circles, or as the Earth circles around the sun, it gives us our seasons as we orbit it.
Yeah, but why is it cold and why is it warm?
Because we're further away from the sun and closer to the sun in orbit. Isn't that correct? Isn't that what they tell us?
So you're going over the little teachings they gave you in school.
Why are you smiling, Carl?
Because you're wrong. Because they're in our summer in the heliocentric model, farther. We're 3.5 million miles farther from the sun than we are in the winter. Right?
Yeah, I thought I heard that. I thought I heard that one time. And I thought that was weird.
But they say it's because we're tilted towards the sun. So if the sun is the camera, right? Get the United States here. When we're tilted towards it, we have more direct rays. And when we're tilted away, we have less direct rays. You with me?
Yeah.
Right?
Now my memory's being refreshed.
Yeah. But But that's stupid, right? And then the globers will go, well, it's only 2% difference, and it's the atmosphere, the tilt that really makes it, because the energy of the sun has to spread out over a wider area. Cool story, bro. It's a very cool story, but that's not how it works, right? Because if you think about it, in June 21st on the solstice, when we're the closest to the excuse me, to the sun, we're 3.5 million miles farther away. We're most tilted towards the sun on the ball. And it's the warmest. That's when we're getting the most radiation. But we're 3.5 million miles farther away. What about at sunrise? Sunrise, we couldn't be any more tilted away from the sun, right? It couldn't be any, we're tilted all the way away, like beyond, right? And at sunrise, you can feel the heat of the sun here in Connecticut, right? In Texas, it's always hot. Right. But in Connecticut, in December 21st, the winter solstice, at noon, when the sun's at the highest point in the sky, a much more direct angle, and 3.5 million miles closer, I can't even feel the heat on my face. How can you explain that?
Yeah.
You can't. Well, you can't, right? So let's talk about seasons, right? So let's say we're outside, and it's freezing cold outside, and somebody comes over and says, all right, I got a heat lamp, and I'm going to put it right over you, right? You're laying here, and it's warm, right? You're warm, and I say, all right, that's your sun. Where is it? And you're like, well, it's warm, and it's directly above me, right? So I say, okay, it's directly above you, but for me, it's kind of at maybe a 45-degree angle at best. It's farther away, lower in the sky, and it's not high in the sky. It's low in the sky. I'm cold. You're warm. Now, this guy's not going to lower it. He's going to walk over, keeping it at the same height. I'm warm. The sun's higher in the sky. You're cold. The sun's lower in the sky.
Yeah. But
that's how seasons work.
Well, I'm confused because, I mean, that's just the sun moving around on a 24-hour basis.
Well,
So
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you
okay.
that's that's actually over the course of a year. So I'll show you. So here's the globe Earth model. We have a 93 million mile away sun in the morning, and it's chilly, and then at noon we have a 93 million mile away sun, and it's warm, and then in the evening we have a 93 million mile away sun, and it's cold. Here on a flat Earth with a small local sun, we have a distant sun where it's cool, a closer sun, closer, it's hot, and then a distant sun, and it cools off again, right? Just like a heat source would work, right? So this is June 21st. This is December 21st, right? On a flat Earth, in June, the sun will circle around here every day. Goes all the way around. So where's Texas? Over here, right? Texas right about there. Sun gets really pretty close to you. It's really warm there in Texas because the sun is almost right over you in June. And then in December, the sun is lower in the sky, farther away, colder, and it's summer out here in Australia, South Africa, South America. And the sun for us is lower in the sky, just like that person moving the light away, the heat lamp away. It gets lower and farther. So if we look at, we'll go over to the clock. So here, if you look now, the sun right now is actually working its way out. Let me make this bigger. Can't do that.
So the sun does not stay in the same path all year round. It moves
I'm
further out to the south and further back in.
Yeah. So in June, it was over the Tropic of Cancer, which is that yellow line. And it's already moving its way out. I'm going to jump forward 1 month at a time with a little jump button. So we're in July, right? August, September. Whoops, my bad.
Okay, I'm seeing it. It is moving further out.
Yeah.
All right.
So September, October, November, and December. And December, it's way out here. So it's spiraling in for 6 months and spiraling out for 6 months.
Okay.
And
I
that's how
guess
it goes. And then the moon, the sun will lap the moon once every 28 days. So watch, the sun will get a little bit closer each day. The moon phase will change just a little bit. And when the sun gets right near the moon, we'll have a new moon. You won't see the moon. And then 2 weeks later, you'll see the sun opposed to the moon. It'll be a full moon. And so the sun keeps track of the hours and the days. The moon keeps track of the weeks and the months. There used to be 13 months of 28 days, 364, plus 1 day to reset the year, but they hijacked our calendar. And then if you want to go a little farther, add the stars. The stars are spinning slightly faster than the sun. So the stars will lap the sun every 365 laps. That's a year. So the sun will slowly drift back through each zodiac for about a month at a time as it drifts through the zodiac, as it's slowly outrunning it. And then this time next year, it resets to right there.
okay.
So the stars keep track of the seasons and the years. The sky is a perfect clock. The sky is the most accurate clock in the world, more than any watch, anything, anywhere, Swiss made or not, because they're all based on the sky clock, because the sky clock is time.
All right. Well, I was going to ask you a couple of other things that are more technical, but you know what? I think I want to ask you something about some gravy. Like, let's get into a little bit of gravy. So, we've something that I like to bring up on a regular basis because it's interesting on the biblical aspect of is UAPs, formerly known as UFOs. Okay. And a lot of people are like, oh, they're aliens. They're from outer space. But for a flat earther, you don't believe in outer space. You don't believe in space, right?
The outer space.
Do what?
The outer space.
The outer space?
The outer space. What is outer space? What is extraterrestrial? Break down the word extraterrestrial for me. Can you do that?
It means be other than Earth.
Extra is what?
Other
extra.
Than. Extra.
Extra means more.
More, yeah.
Terrestrial means what?
Earth.
More land. More Earth, right? So extraterrestrial territory, extra terra, right? So on a globe, where could there be extra territory? Kind of hard, right?
I don't know. Maybe we should get beyond that ice wall. Is that where you're going?
Maybe what's out here? Maybe there's more land. So let's see what evidence we have for that. Besides books and all sorts of stuff, there's a book section on here. Click the more land section. Some great books. But here is a ship tracking site. This is Antarctica. And we saw some ships at some weird distances this one's 730 miles from the closest port. How does an active ship get 730 miles in where the elevation is 1.9 miles above sea level, right? And here's another one, 905 miles in, which is over 2.3 miles above sea level.
We're talking about marine vessels, marine ships?
I'm talking about marine ships, actual ships. So we clicked on one of them, and it said that it was 850 meters long, 80 meters wide. That is a gigantic ship. And normally you get all sorts of information on the ships. But all it said was the size, and it was registered in the nation of Kiribati, but it's spelled Kiribati, Kirbati, right? And so, have you ever heard of Kiribati? Kiribati. Okay. Well, let's find it. It's out here in the middle of nowhere. It's so small, I had to put a pin on it. There it is. Right? Right? Because you zoom in, you have to zoom in before you can even see it, before it'll even show up on Google Earth. And it's this really weird little island. And you do some research on it, you find out America, China, Vietnam, they're giving them billions and billions and billions of dollars. $10 billion China recently gave them. I think America gave them the same amount. For what? They say it's a very important trade route. Why does a giant ship have to stop at this little unknown nation island? What are they getting? Right? I mean, that one ship could supply this entire island for years, probably. Right? So what's going on there? And then I'm going to tell you something that happened there. just in looking on the island, we found there's one little bed and breakfast called Captain Cook. And Captain Cook's the guy that tried to circumnavigate Antarctica, which is supposed to be 11 to 13,000 miles around, but he went for 68,000 miles before he completed his journey. Does that sound like he's going around a little continent, or is he going all the way around the flat Earth? Okay, so that was interesting. That doesn't prove anything, just an interesting little thing. And if we look at the ships that are docking there on the ship tracker, they have very little information about them all either. They say their destination is either unknown or Christmas Island. And if you look into Christmas Island, you know, the whole satanic Christmas connection, that's weird. Doesn't say much, but they got these ships. We don't know what they're doing there. And they're going to places in Antarctica that should be impossible. What if the world is set up like this? Here's a map that was found in a Buddhist temple, 10 centuries old, published in 1910 in a Hawaiian newspaper. And they showed all these continents out here. Showed all these continents out here. Interesting, right? And so if we look a little farther, we look at time zones. These are time zones, right? On a ball, you draw 24 lines from the North Pole to the South Pole, dividing the Earth up like sections in an orange, and those are your time zones. Those are your time zones. You have all your time zones, right? So if you zoom in on the date line, it does this weird little jig. I never understood that. Why doesn't it just go straight down? Why don't we have 24 sections? This is a date. This is a time zone. This is the time zone. It goes across 3.5 time zones. Okay. And guess what's here in the most weird spot? That would be Kiribati, right? Weird. That just doesn't prove anything. It's just weird, right? And now that we've done all these videos that are going viral on it, when you search Kiribati, spell it out, it brings you to a totally different island. And they changed the name of the island on Google Earth. It brings you all the way over there. This is where it really was. And now they changed the name.
What's it called now?
It's called Karamati. Okay.
That's an interesting little tidbit of info.
That just happened, right? How many time zones are there on Earth? How many different time zones are there?
I do not know.
24 hours in a day, there's 24 time zones.
Okay.
There should be. That's what a ball would dictate. But there's 19 time zones in the Arctic area. There's 24 in between the tropics. And there's 32 time zones in the outer area. Right? If you try to wrap that around a ball, you have to crunch it in on the bottom. And that's where those time zones disappear into. Right? The fact that this right here, again, as I said before, everything I show you is detrimental to the globe. Detrimental. But going back to that map I just showed you, where is it? What if it was an important trade route from here out to these other lands? What if there's other civilizations out here? What if they're the ones giving us our new computer chips, weapons, tuna fish, children? What if they're doing something? What if there's all sorts of trade routes going out here? Would you know? You didn't know about Kiribati until today. Kiribati.
Well, if they're traveling, like if they're using technology we're not even aware of, that our government's
those ships
most likely hiding.
Those ships could have free energy technology on them. They could be electric ships pulling energy out of the ether. Who knows?
Exactly.
Yeah. So if somebody lived out here in the outer space and came to visit you in here, abduct you, anally do something to you, they could go back and have dinner with their kids in the same day, right? They would be an extraterrestrial from the outer space. Now, is that more probable than somebody coming? Let's just say the closest star has a planet of intelligent beings that want to come here and anally probe you. All right. That's 4.5 light years away. if you were traveling a mile per second, you can answer this. A mile per second, and you went for 1 trillion seconds, how many miles have you gone? Very easy. It's not a trick question.
Say that again. I was looking at Carl. I thought he was.
Yeah, yeah. No, this is for you. Carl knows the answer. Carl's because he heard me say it a million times. If you're traveling 1 mile per second for 1 trillion seconds, how many miles have you gone?
1 trillion.
Very good. Very good. So how long is 1 trillion seconds in days? If you guess it within 2 days, I'll give you a Bitcoin.
I have no idea. 60,000 years, 50,000 years.
Wow, you're the closest one. 31,000 years. Okay, so if we're traveling a mile per second for 31,000 years, we're only 1/25th of the way to the closest star. If I went to Elon and said, Elon, give me your best rocket ever, he goes, oh, I got one that goes 100,000 miles an hour. Unfathomable. It's only going to take us 28,000 years to get there. And then when we get there, I hope we don't crash in Roswell and then they, put us in a lab and take care of it's bull crap. All of that.
Well, come on. Wait a minute. They may be able to bend space time with all of that antimatter that doesn't that they don't know what it is, and they just know it's there, and somehow they can't see it, smell it, touch it, observe it, but they know it's there, because it has to be there, or their math and it's all just screwed up, Maybe they can use that to bend space time and get here immediately.
Joseph recently found out about dark matter, so he's triggered.
No, I didn't. I didn't just now find out about it. It just drives me nuts.
You've earned the cool story, bro glasses. Okay, cool story, bro. All right. I mean, you have to fold space time to live in a heliocentric world, an expanding world. Do you know how fast your universe is expanding? I think it's 1 billion miles a day, or a second, or a minute. Who knows? It's stupid. Whatever it is. Okay, it's expanding into what? Wait a minute. If it's expanding, it's already there. Like, they said that they saw a galaxy that's 13 billion light years old away or something. Wait, I thought the universe wasn't that old, right? Everything they tell us, they're just testing us to see how stupid we are. And most people just don't want to bother thinking about it.
Yeah, it drives me crazy when I hear all of the theoretical science that we're supposed to just accept as fact about the universe and things that we don't get me started. Carl's right. I'm triggered. Go ahead.
Yeah, don't be triggered. Listen, here's the thing. Go to my website, flatearthdates.com. There's tons of videos you can watch there for free. You can get my app. It's $3, right? The app has a featured video every day. The challenge I give people is watch the featured video every day for 2 weeks. At the end of that 2 weeks, if you can come up with 1 globe proof, you win 3 Bitcoins. Okay, that's like 200 grand, right? But don't get your hopes up. Earth is flat, right? So once you understand this, everything changes. Once you understand it, everything changes.
Well, I'm going to ask you one last question, and then we'll let you go. And once again, dude, thank you for Carl. I've been hogging the mic, man. You got anything? I've been hogging. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to watch. I wanted to watch him flat smack me. That's all. I didn't think I'd do
this. This wasn't a flat smacking. This was a.
Well, I kind of started.
It pretty much was a flat smacking. Okay, in a nice way, friendly.
I got it warmed up for you at work. I tried to explain it to them, and there were some things where I'm like, man, I gotta just hook you up with Flat Earth Dave.
Listen, get the app and just watch the video each day. Like during your lunch break, watch it. Right? There's amazing stuff on there. As far as the old world, I have a new button on here. And it's this one of the Griffin. If you click it, it brings up old world stuff. Amazing stuff. You want to learn about blimps? Check out this guy on The Improbable Dreamer and stuff. This is my favorite. This is my lunch break. This guy is amazing. Puts out 1 video a week. Mind blowing. He's in the movie. I told you if you go to my website, flatearthdave.com, Old World Order. Warning: if you click that video and watch it for free, it's free. You are never going to see the world the same again. You'll never be able to go outside and look with just lazy eyes and not go, what the fuck? It's all around me. I never saw it. It's right there. You'll never be able to do that again. Okay? So warning, if you don't want to just walk around like a zombie living in, this lied to world, don't watch any of this stuff.
Well, let me ask you, because let let me tell you first. So I got to talking with this guy about a complete heliocentric, just bar none. It's like the flat Earth is the stupidest thing he's ever heard, and I'm like, well, I don't know, man. They got some experiments they've done that they. You're muted.
We all said that. We all said that it's the dumbest thing ever.
Well, so I'm like, man, they got. I don't know. There's some experiments that have been done that definitely have questions that need to be answered. I'm willing to have a discussion about it. So, anyways, we got to talking, and me being a Christian, a Bible believing Christian, that's kind of what this show is about. Talking about topics like this. How does it affect life? How does it affect your beliefs? With the Bible. And I'm like, I was telling him, I'm like, because he had the same question. He's like, why? Why would they lie about this? And I said, well, get to thinking about it, dude. I was like, get to thinking about it. If people came to the realization, let's just say the flat earthers are correct. Let's say that there's the firmament that God spoke about in the Bible, that the stars and everything we call the stars, the constellations, the galaxies, those are all set in the firmament. There is no outer space past that. And let's just say that we came to the conclusion that yes, we are in like a terrarium, kind of like a half, like a snow globe. The fact of a creator would be almost undeniable after that.
No. 100% undeniable.
Right. Exactly.
So that's where they don't want you, in a place where you can't deny creation, right? They don't want you in, because in the heliocentric world, you can go, yeah, God created this, but you can always have your doubts. In a flat Earth, you can argue all day about who the creator is and what your purpose is, but you can't argue that there's not a creator. And that's what they don't want you in that position. Right here is the new button, a biblical button, and up come all of this biblical stuff. Every Sunday morning, Marty Leeds does a sermon here, but they're all recorded, so you can watch them anytime you want. I highly recommend watching those. But right here, this second one, Biblical Cosmology Remastered, this is phenomenal. 8-part series. It will blow your mind. Listen to part 1, and then you'll have to go through all 8 of them. It will absolutely blow your mind. Tons of other stuff. Live streaming 24/7. Homeschool for biblical homeschooling course. This stuff will blow your mind right here. But this section right here will knock your socks off.
That's cool. You may have just sold me just on that part alone.
Just and this section here has all sorts of stuff in it. There's one in here. It's also in if you hit the web button again, the more resources. There's a full-length videos section right here. There's a one called Heliosorcery. You'll love that. Write that one down. Heliosorcery. But it's in the biblical section. Also, and then the books. If you're into books, click biblical, and let it load for a second. There's a whole bunch of books. It'll take a second to load. And there's all sorts of resources, biblically. Amazing.
That's
stuff
really
that
cool.
Amazon won't push.
So where do you fall on the Bible? What's your do you relate to any specific religion? Do you what do you believe?
I definitely not. I definitely not go to any religion. I do like looking at the Bible. I actually just did a podcast. If you click my interviews button right here, I just did a podcast the other day with a guy in Israel. Whoops, it's not going to show.
Flat Earth in the Torah. I saw that.
Yeah, Flat Earth in the Torah. Yeah. So
I didn't watch it, but I saw it.
It's actually really good. The guy, he brought up the way he got my attention was he brought up in the Torah. It says the sun goes around the north and along the south, around the north and along the south, right? And so then he brought up all these other things. It's a really good one, but there's tons in the biblical section. Blow your mind. There's one called 200 Proofs, I think. 200 biblical verses in the Bible. It's all undeniable. I also think that, people say, are you a Christian? And my answer is I'm more Christian than most Christians, all right? As far as my behavior, my what I do, how I behave, and my relationship with the Creator. So I also like to say that's a personal thing. And that's everyone else. Everyone has their own relationship with their creator.
Okay. Fair enough. Carl, you got anything, man, before we let him go? Let him go eat or something? Really appreciate you being
Thanks,
here,
man.
man.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Please help.
Send me a link when this is up. I'll share it on the app, so it'll be on top of that list.
Will do,
Cool.
man. Hey, thank you again for sitting down with a traditional I guess you can call me a globalist. Alex Jones would be like, globalist.
You're not. You're just. I don't want to say. I don't want to sound bad.
Denial.
I'm just
It's like
ignorant. I'm just
no,
ignorant.
You're just ignorant.
You
Yeah,
said it
you're
at the
just-
very beginning. I'm ignorant.
I did. And I was too. We all were. So once you start looking, if you're honest with yourself and put down your ego, you're like, yeah, my whole life is a lie. Everything I believed is nonsense, and Star Wars is stupid. Star Wars is actually the story of here on Earth. In the book section, there's a book called The Navigator Who Crossed the Ice Wall. It's literally the story of Star Wars here on flat Earth, right? Here on flat Earth. If you go to the images section, I just type in maps. There's this map. Now, not claiming, again, you don't need to go beyond Antarctica or above where we can reach to prove the Earth is flat. We can do that right here, but it is always fun to speculate. I'm just letting this load because this is a test version. Well, it's not going to load right now, but maybe it'll load in a second. There's a map that shows all of these ponds, and there's 178 worlds. We live in one pond, and there's 178 other ones, and it's a story about traveling in between them, and that there's hostile lands and not hostile lands, and they're like all the people that can travel between them, they have a connection to the source of creation. Sounds to me a lot like the Force, and it's the same thing, but it's here. There's not, the term. There's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah, Ecclesiastes.
Right? There's nothing new under the sun. All the stories, all the movies, they're all the same. Everything's the same. They're making up. The story of Star Wars is the story here on Earth. Everything, they just make it up. The Big Bang is the story of creation. It's the story of the Big Bang. There was a Big Bang, and then a spark of life. That's the conception, and then 13 billion years. That's the 9 months of pregnancy. Then the waters above, the separating of the waters and the birth, and it's all a story. It's all the same story. Nothing new under the sun.
Well,
It's a story that feels true to us.
Yeah.
there you go. Well, like I said, I'm not that type of person, and you said it at the very beginning, Dave. You said, and I love it, and this is what made me listen to Carl. You know what I mean? One thing that drives me crazy is when somebody acts like they have all the facts, and if you screw with them just a little bit and they can't answer it, they get all defensive. I like the fact that you and Carl himself say, "Look, I don't claim to have all the answers, and when I don't know, I will tell you I don't know. But what I do observe, I cannot deny." And that Carl says the same thing. It's like what you see and what you observe doesn't make sense.
And the Globers will say, "You flat earthers, you're okay with not knowing," but the Globers believe what they were told in their school books. The first thing that they were told, that's what they believe. And then they make fun of us for saying, "I don't know the answer to that. I don't know how far the sun is. I don't exactly know what the sun is. I don't know how the moon controls women's reproductive cycles." Okay? I don't know all of these things. But claiming you know it is the worst form of ignorance.
And then ridiculing somebody else for saying that they don't have all the answers.
Right.
So I'm not, like I said, I'm open to the conversation. I'm not fully sold on a heliocentric model, and I'm not a flat earther after this conversation, but I'm okay with that. I'm
Right.
okay with
Gun to your head, flat or globe.
Huh?
Gun to your head. You have 3 seconds until someone's going to pull the trigger. Is the Earth flat or is it a globe? 3, 2, 1. You're dead.
I'm dead.
So here's the thing.
Hold on. It depends on who's holding the firearm, and is my answer. If Flat Earth Dave is holding it, I'll be like, "It's flat, dude. It's flat."
No,
it's
it has to. It's representing the truth. Here's the thing. You hesitated, which means that you are questioning the globe. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
That's all I ask for.
Yes.
The other thing is, if someone says, "I still believe in the globe," I say, "Why? Give me one reason." And then we say, you know what, get back to me in a couple weeks. And then they come back to me in a couple weeks. They're like, okay, it's flat. Right? Because if you think it's a globe, ask yourself why. Because somebody told you, because NASA showed you a picture. NASA.
NASA.
Nonsense.
Bunch of Nazis.
A bunch of Nazi nonsense. All right. So if you just ask yourself, you know, why do you think it's a globe? And then click the question mark button right here. And here are all of the questions. You know, why the lie? Great videos in here. Great videos. There's one on there. It's on my channel, DITRH, but by Laura Nina. Why the lie? It'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind. There's all sorts of that section alone is worth it. Gravity, Coriolis effect. Every question you have is here. Where does the sun go? We didn't get into how the sun sets, but I have tons of videos on how the sun sets. Check out my YouTube channel, DITRH. Stands for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, DITRH. All of that stuff, links to all my channels can be found at flatearthdave.com. Make sure you subscribe and just start watching the channel. And then, you know, if you think it's nonsense, unsubscribe. But you won't. You'll actually end up losing your family and friends and for a while until they become flat earthers.
Nice. Well, thank you, Carl, for making this happen. Thank you, Dave, for coming on here. And I mean, it was awesome. It was freaking awesome.
All right, man. Thanks, man. See ya. Have a great night.
Later, man. Well, that was great. I really had a fun time sitting down with Carl and sitting down with Dave and just kind of picking his brain and talking about what flat earthers believe and the misconceptions and just the ins and outs of it. It was great, and really thank Dave for taking the time to come to this little YouTube channel called The Cross Reference and to just sit down and have the discussion, because it was great. So let me ask you, are you a flat earther now? That's okay. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you thought about the interview. Let me know if you heard something you never heard, or maybe you believe something about what flat earthers believe that was never true to begin with. Let me know in the comments. And remember, go over, if you have any more, if you're interested and you want to learn more, go over to Flat Earth Dave's YouTube channel called Flat Earth Dave Interviews 2, and also go to his other channel, DITRH, and look out, because when you search Flat Earth Dave, like we said in the interview, the first thing that pops up when you search Flat Earth Dave is his channel, just his channel logo. You have to click on that to go to the channel. Everything underneath that, most of that is somebody else's channel, either interviewing Flat Earth Dave or having a debate with him or trying to debunk him or whatever. He's very shadow banned in the algorithm. Just make sure you click on his channel logo and go to his channel to view his content. But once again, I really thank him for coming on and just having the discussion. So remember, do all the cool things. And I know you will, because you're cool people. I always say that. Anyways, remember, whether you eat or drink, do it all to the glory of God. And I will see you guys next time.